So I'm now quite happy with the volume, the balance actually, and this is the same as with the console. I always do that before I do any EQ moves, any compression moves, and any effects, just to get a basic balance right. Because when you start off immediately with EQ compression, you are always chasing the balance between the different instruments. And it's much easier than to apply a compression and actually how much compression you need. So you always have to listen how the instruments itself, so for example here the ukulele and the piano, which have a little bit more high frequencies than the bass, how they interact with each other. And I'm quite happy now with that. So I would say I hear that the bass needs quite a bit of compression. You can also see it here in the waveform. Quite some louder parts and quieter parts. Ukulele probably needs also quite a bit of compression. Piano, actually not that much. I mean, the piano itself is a MIDI piano, and I used here the Grand Rhapsody from Waves. Used here the Condenser 87, two of them, so in stereo, but I didn't do actually anything to the EQ here or to the compressor, so I went with quite a basic setting here, and so we can carve the sound later on, but I don't think that it needs too much compression. Obviously vocals need also a little bit of compression, as well as EQ, so to get the balance right between those two. So let's start off with the bass, I would say. Let's mute the vocals again. So let's see, let's add EQ. Let's see where we make a low cut here. I don't want to get rid of all the low end. I like the bottom heavy DI sound. But in this mix, I don't want to overdo it with the low end. Maybe let's boost it just a tiny bit. Let's see what the high frequencies are doing. Maybe let's add a little bit of 800 just to make it cut on smaller speakers. So without it. Anyway. Then let's see what we can do compression-wise. Well, let's check it first with the other instruments. Okay, not that bad. Let's see, before we do any compression, let's go quickly to the ukulele, because I hear that we might need a EQ in front of the compressor. Ukulele, you can start at 150. There's not much below that, especially with a very small ukulele. Let's see the high end. Well, maybe not too high. Let's see in that range. Just a tiny bit. There is something I don't like here, so let's see. 35. Be a little bit higher. Let's take that out a little bit. $1K, so around 500 to 1K, 1.5K, so kind of like the meat of the ukulele, the smaller ones. Because when you get rid of that, it gets thin quite easily. So without EQ. And with. Okay, and now let's see with the bass and the piano. It sticks out a little bit more, so we have to do a little bit on the piano. Let's go to the piano. And let's use on the piano another EQ. Let's use the, well, maybe the R EQ. Why not? Let's try 70 here. So it doesn't intervene with the bass. Just want the low end really from the bass itself. Let's boost a little bit the top end here. Maybe also a little bit around 1K. Just to make it a little bit better, maybe a little bit higher here. So without it. And okay. Let's turn down the ukulele just a bit. I like that. So let's go now back to the bass before we go to the vocals. I always do vocals last. So let's mute them again and let's see what we do with the bass compression-wise. So let's add maybe let's add dynamics to dBm 160. I like that compressor on the bass. Because it's so easy to use. Add a bit of a makeup gain. Let's try 4 to 1. Found it. With bass, I'm not shy of compressing the bass quite a bit because I really want to have that glued in the mix just to get it really coherent. Well, let's leave that. Let's see with the other instruments. balance. Maybe let's reduce a little bit. Okay, let's go to the ukulele and add here a slower. Let's add it to a, well, let's add the cakewalk. Why not the cakewalk? See in this part here. So -3 to -4 seems to be quite okay. And finally also the piano. And let's add to the piano a cleaner one. Let's add just the standard logic. I like that for piano. And let's see, let's, not the digital one, let's use well, let's use just the digital one. Why not? Let's try 3, 2, 1. So just those top high notes I want to reduce a little bit. I mean, obviously we could also do it in the section here, so reduce the single notes, but she played actually quite constant, and let's just do that with a compressor. Add a little bit of topping, a little bit of gain boost. Okay. And now, before we add any effects to that, go to the vocals.